Ah, the silent killer in your air. How air pollution is reshaping our health and what you can do about it. Every day you breathe about 22,000 times. And with each breath, your body pulls in not just oxygen, but something else. Something invisible, something deadly, something now linked to heart disease, cancer, strokes, infertility, dementia, and even mental illness. It's in our cities, it's in our homes, and it's creeping into even the most remote corners of Earth. It is air pollution, and it is far more dangerous than we have been told. Let's begin with the numbers. According to the World Health Organization, air pollution is responsible for 7 million premature deaths each year, more than AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. Over 90% of the global population lives in areas with unsafe air quality. And shockingly, air pollution is now the fourth leading risk factor for death worldwide. So what exactly are we breathing? Air pollution is made up of tiny particles and gases. One of the most dangerous is PM 2.5, particulate matter smaller than 2.5 micrometers. That's 30 times smaller than a human hair, small enough to bypass your body's natural defenses, small enough to enter your lungs, your bloodstream, even your brain. And here's where it gets scary. PM 2.5 doesn't just sit there. It creates inflammation, it triggers immune responses, it damages the lining of blood vessels, it accelerates aging, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier, contributing to Alzheimer's, depression, and developmental issues in children. Consider Delhi, India, a city where the air is so polluted that breathing it for a day is equivalent to smoking 50 cigarettes. Or Los Angeles, where smog days are rising despite regulations. Or London, where children are now being diagnosed with asthma before the age of 5, with air pollution being a key factor. But it's not just about cities anymore. Thanks to wind currents, pollution from one region can travel thousands of miles. Smoke from wildfires in Canada can reach New York. Saharan dust clouds affect air quality in South America. Even the Arctic now has measurable traces of industrial air pollution. And it's not only outdoors. Indoor air, where most people spend 90% of their time, can be even worse. Cleaning products, gas stoves, synthetic furniture, mold, pet dander, and even candles all release pollutants. The EPA states that indoor air can be 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air. Now let's talk about the science of what happens inside the body. When you inhale polluted air, PM 2.5 enters the lungs and causes microscopic injuries. The immune system responds with inflammation, which becomes chronic when exposure is constant. Over time, this increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, type 2 diabetes, and chronic respiratory diseases like COPD. Recent studies also show that air pollution can lead to lower sperm count, menstrual irregularities, and even complications during pregnancy. And then there's the brain. In 2022, researchers from the University of California found that children living in areas with high PM 2.5 levels had reduced cognitive performance and more behavioral problems. In adults, long-term exposure has been linked to depression, anxiety, and a 70% higher risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. The truth is, the air we breathe is silently shaping our future. But there's hope, and there are solutions. Let's look at cities that fought back. In the 1950s, London's infamous Great Smog killed 12,000 people. That tragedy led to the Clean Air Act of 1956, one of the first major environmental reforms. Fast forward to today, and London has seen a 97% reduction in coal smoke emissions. In China, once home to the world's most polluted cities, aggressive policies have reduced PM 2.5 levels in Beijing by more than 35% in under a decade. And in the USA, the Clean Air Act of 1970 is estimated to have prevented over 230,000 early deaths annually by reducing emissions from vehicles and factories. But we don't have to wait for governments to act. Here's what you can do to protect yourself and your loved ones. 1. Track your local air quality. Use apps like IQR Air Visual or EPA's Air Now. If levels are high, stay indoors or wear an N95 mask when outside. 2. Invest in an air purifier. Look for one with a HEPA filter. These remove up to 99.97% of airborne particles. 3. Ventilate your home. Open windows when outdoor air is clean. Use exhaust fans in kitchens and bathrooms. 4. Avoid burning indoors. No candles, no incense, no smoking. Even cooking with gas stoves releases nitrogen dioxide and carbon monoxide. 5. Add indoor plants. While not a full solution, some plants like spider plants, snake plants, and peace lilies can slightly improve air quality. 6. Drive less, walk or cycle more. Every reduced mile means less fuel burned and cleaner air for everyone. 7. Support clean energy. Switch to renewable sources when possible. Solar panels, electric vehicles, and energy-efficient appliances make a real difference. 8. Advocate. Vote for leaders who support clean air policies. Support bans on industrial emissions and deforestation. The air connects us all. Local actions have global effects. And perhaps most importantly, educate. Share what you know. Talk to your family, because awareness is the first breath of change. Imagine a world where our children grow up without asthma, where elderly people live longer, healthier lives, where we don't have to check an app before going outside. That world is possible if we care enough to demand it. Air is life, and now more than ever we must protect it. The air you breathe is not a choice, but what we do about it is.